Welcome to Michigan Reimagined, presented by Good Marketing and Wagoner Financial. And here's your host, Chris Buck.
Housing opportunities and solutions may be the largest challenge Michigan is facing. The city of Detroit's established an organization called the Detroit Housing Commission, and they're providing an amazing amount of support to its residents. Here to share their story, their mission, and their newest services is the Detroit Housing Commission Executive Director, Mr. Arthur Jemison, and Irene Tucker, their Chief Operating Officer. We've got some horsepower in the building today, and I'm really looking forward to having a good conversation. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So Detroit's been making national news over the last decade or so in a really positive way, and I'm bullish on Detroit's future. And I understand that the city's reported population gains for the first time in a long time. But with that, there's a lot of folks that need to figure out their housing, whether it's inbound people that want to move to the city of Detroit because of the excitement, or Detroiters who want home ownership and the generational wealth that can kind of create. So talk a little bit about the commission. How long have you been around, and at its core, what is your mission and who do you serve?
Sure. So I guess I'd start by saying that Detroit Housing Commission is a housing authority.
Authority, okay.
Authority. It's like it's a kind of affordable housing that sort of had its origins in the late 1930s and early 1940s, and over the generations has been updated. Most notably in the 1990s, when public housing was redeveloped on a large scale through the Hope 6 and later the Choice Neighborhoods programs. So we're the biggest landlord in the city, and we serve the people with very low incomes, usually people around 30% of area median income. And we do that with about 3,600 units in service and about 5,000 sort of housing choice vouchers in the 5-county area. That's a little bit about what kind of organization we are. And with your next question, Irene, and I'll get into some of the future prospects and things we're trying to get done here as part of our leadership.
Got it. Okay. So how do people engage you? How does your audience find your authority, and what kind of process do they need to go through before they receive services? And you mentioned
Sure.
vouchers and there's housing opportunities, but how exactly does that kind of transaction consummate itself?
People apply for public housing and for vouchers, and Irene can sort of walk you through some of the details of that. But we have a very significant number of people requesting support from us. Irene, do you want to add?
Absolutely. So through under HUD guidelines, we have a wait list, and you can apply via our website directly online to make sure that there's proper order, that, for each site, you can be on the wait list for any site when they are open. And so it's free to all. You can apply, and then eligibility process of that is really, again, following the HUD criteria. And as Mr. Jemison indicated, 30% area medium income is really the prime, target audience that we're trying to offer affordable housing.
Got it. So what is that website? I think that's really important. You teased us with it.
Absolutely.
It's www.dhcmi.org.
Perfect.
You can find out about our different locations, how to become a landlord if you want to be in the Section 8 program, offering housing to families in need, or you can apply for our public housing, or you can apply for a voucher.
Wonderful. Okay. So I moved to Michigan in 2008. Personally, I've bounced around the country a little bit, and I've lived all of the time in Michigan, in mid-Michigan, in the Lansing area. So I just say that to let you know that in preparation for this interview, I went on the website and tinkered around. And I got to tell you, I'm blown away at the depth and the content and the quality of your product. I mean, the website is really informative, and I learned a ton just as a person wandering around and clicking on the different things that are out there. So to be clear, so how are you funded? What is the funding mechanism by which you're able to offer all these services?
So our primary funding source is a subsidy that comes directly to us from U.S. HUD in Washington.
Got it.
That funds both our public housing units operations, and it funds our housing choice vouchers. I'll make sure I haven't left anything important out, Irene.
No, that's exactly it. The housing and urban development, which is HUD,
Yep.
is our primary funder, as Mr. Jemison said. So pretty much over 90% of our funds come from HUD. There are different programs, whether it be for the low-income public housing or whether it be for housing choice vouchers.
Right. So differentiate that for me a little bit. So you've got vouchers that can be applied for people that are staying in private landlord circumstances. And then you also have a portfolio of residential buildings that you own and operate, I would imagine, right? And then people can get into there as well. Can you explain that a little bit more for those not familiar?
Sure, that's exactly right.
Okay.
So our 3,600 units that we own and operate, sometimes in partnership with third parties who are our property managers, that's the inventory of affordable housing that we manage, either again directly or through third parties in the city, and that's publicly owned assets. In the case of the voucher program, it's what people receive is they receive a voucher benefit that they can take to a private landlord, and based on their income, it's adjusted based on their income. They pay a certain amount of the rent, and the landlord gets the remainder from the federal government through us, and together that's their fair market rent. So that way, the person who is managing those units gets an appropriate rent.
Got it. Makes a ton of sense. I mean, it seems almost too good to be true. I mean, that's such a gift to people who really need that kind of help, because shelter, housing, I mean, that is the hierarchy of needs. It's right there at the top. So
Go ahead. I was going to say one of the challenges, though, is that there's not enough, and we spend time trying to best reposition our assets to make them even better and stronger. So those are really the challenges we're trying to address.
You know, I know we all kind of broke the ice a little bit up at the Mackinac Policy Conference, which just concluded. And for those who weren't able to attend and haven't heard much about it yet, it was talking about common ground in this age of divisiveness, people picking their camps and just blindly saying, I'm going to believe this because I don't want to believe them. But then there's also our house is on fire, metaphorically. Michigan needs to turn it up a notch and move some of these really important numbers from lower of the 50 states to back up to being a top 10 state in a lot of key metrics. With all that said, you knowing that 90% of your funding is federally regulated, how much does your pendulum shift, and how worried do you get when there are administrative changes, or is HUD got a pretty reasonable, consistent revenue stream where you don't need to worry that the checks are going to come?
So I guess I'd start by saying, we have to, Irene and I's charge is to manage and improve this portfolio, both of the vouchers and the physical portfolio, regardless of who the president is. And so we really focused on what we can do for Detroiters every day. I would say that kind of trend line, that the amount of money that goes into our support and operation of the conventional public housing portfolio that we own has gone down significantly over the last, say, 30 years, and it continues to be eroded. So that's kind of the bad news. The good news is that HUD, across different administrations, has made available new instruments that give us some hope of actually making significant improvements on our properties. I'd also say that our properties, some of them are very well located, and we have the opportunity to not just bring back affordable housing, but to also add, even in some cases, probably even add more units. I might want to pass it to Irene just to talk a little bit about the preservation part of it, because you're talking about the what's happened in the city.
Yep.
And growth requires that you don't lose people and then you add people. And
right.
So part of our work is preserving and part of the work we have we've offered to the marketplace recently is about preserving affordable housing that we have, so that we can kind of stabilize and keep people and then go through the process of adding. But Irene, anything you want to add on the preservation note?
Yeah, just overall with Mr. Chris talking about house on fire, which is a
That's one
familiar
of
term here at DHC, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's what we lived for the last few years. And then also talking about a common ground. And for us, that means partnerships. So with us, our board telling us to be amazing, keep moving toward amazing. With a team of great individuals, we're trying to offer and maintain the current housing that they have and raise the resident experience. And meanwhile, as Mr. Jemison is saying, we need to definitely rehabilitate, redevelop, because over the next 10 years, things have to change. And so trying to do that preservation work is so important because our current market needs it, our current residents need it. And then in doing that, also building generational wealth and growth. But we only can leverage this through reshaping sustainable, affordable housing, which that's what Mr. Jemison is touching on. And again, we can't do it without partnership. Partners like you, like HUD, for example, we run a business here as well. So
Right.
we do business one-on-one. We do cash management, all in applying and complying with the compliance that we have to apply with. So with all of those different tools of leveraging it, we've been weathering the storm. And so we're very thankful for that.
Right on. Well, I'm thankful for our friends at Good Marketing. Here at Michigan Reimagined, we tell stories of passionate Michiganders doing great things across the state. Today's podcast sponsor, Good Marketing, helps organizations tell their stories in powerful and measurable ways. As a behavior change accelerator, Good partners with mission-driven clients to inspire action, shift mindsets, and strengthen communities. From advancing affordable housing to protecting natural resources, expanding education and workforce opportunities, their work moves Michigan forward. See how they're helping shape Michigan's future at goodmarketing.com. That's GUD marketing.com. So now I think you have is it a new tool that's in your toolbox that's called is it the RAD program?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. So RAD stands for Rental Assistance Demonstration Program. So in the late 2000s, HUD began to experiment with some new instruments. So let me describe a challenge in public housing. So as I described, the subsidy available to operate conventional public housing is on a trend line down. In addition to that, the way the subsidy is made available, it's you can't borrow against it to make improvements. For example, HUD has other programs, specifically some of which run through our organization, but others of which go through HUD Central, called for example, the project-based rental assistant and project-based voucher programs. Those allow a developer or owner to receive a contract that pays them the federal portion of the rent in a unit for however many units are covered. And what you're able to do is go out and borrow against that to make improvements or to, in some cases, do the initial development of a project. Public housing wasn't structured that way. So if I wanted to go and improve one of our developments with the team and borrow money to get it, to finance it, that wouldn't be possible. I would have to remain connected to the capital program, which gives the housing authority, and this is also a number that's been going down historically,
Okay.
about $10 or $11 million a year for 3,600 units, which is really not very much. And so, especially if you have old buildings, like the buildings that we own and operate. So by the rental assistance demonstration program was designed to allow you to convert your public housing and the subsidy it receives into a project-based rental assistance contract or a project-based voucher supported project. This allows you to borrow against that federal resource and then create, again, the term of art is capital stacks of low-income housing tax credits that a state might provide, the RAD financing support, and other grants usually that cities have available to them to redevelop or to preserve, to maintain, and basically do a gut rehab, or to build new in some cases, affordable housing. So that new instrument and the way it could be applied to our portfolio gives us some new opportunities that maybe, I worked in public housing in the late 90s as well. We didn't have any of those things. There weren't any of these instruments available. And so now, smart housing authorities like the ones that Irene has been tracking for us and getting us into best practice dialogues with are using this instrument very, very thoughtfully.
Okay. And then, Irene, you mentioned earlier talking about landlords. If you want to be a landlord, you can reach out to the Housing Commission and learn how to do that. What does that entail? I saw that there was a tab on your website that was specifically designed for landlords. Is that a huge part of your initiative? Are you seeking more people to come in and be landlords for this type of housing that's accessible to your clientele?
Absolutely. We experience and see families every day that needs, really good quality home housing. We services over 5 counties. And so becoming a landlord, please, it's going on our website. You can create right online with the login, create yourself, load in the various key documents to show that you own the property. And our team, which ran by Felicia Brewers, she's over the Housing Assistance Department. They will contact and they will help them through the way. So it just is really easy as going to the website that we stated, www.dhcmi.org, and click under landlords, and it will walk you through the process. So absolutely.
Got it. Well, now I know you're laser focused on housing and making sure that people have a quality place to live. That's the stepping stone for lifelong success is feeling safe in the place that you reside. How closely do you have other teammates that work on kind of skills creation and job creation and trying to get the incomes up and getting people out of subsidized housing and being able to afford market rate housing or home ownership and all the things that go along with that? Again, it's Pandora's box. I mean, there's a million things that need to get done. And I know you are one chapter in that book, but how closely are you related to the other, whether it's the city or the county on trying to, create the economic development infrastructure so that you have less customers that need the help that you provide?
Irene, you want to grab that one? It's right up your alley on a couple of different fronts.
So we have internally what we call the golden apple. And I mentioned a little bit about that, where we're trying to increase our affordable housing opportunities through building generational growth. And we do that through what we call family self-sufficiency programs, which are either through the Department of Labor or through HUD. We have a director, Denise White, and her team. They do an amazing job through Youth Build, which young individuals 18 and older can take on, either get their GED or take on additional certifications to help them be more sustainable in life and have jobs lined up. So whether you want to be, take blood up phlebotomy, or whether you want to be a construction worker, there are different types of certifications through that program that get you there. Also, we have warm partnerships we have handshakes. So if you need a vehicle, you have other things. We work with Wayne Metro. We work with the city of Detroit, which is a phenomenal partner of ours, and help us on a day-to-day basis. And forgive us for not mentioning them up front. We have an amazing board. We have amazing partners that help not only us be better, but our residents as well. Because again, as we reshape sustainable affordable housing, which Mr. Jemison is driving today, right? We still have to maintain our affordable housing opportunities. We still want to build that generational wealth where a part of a person's in a family self-sufficiency program, a part of the rent, remember Mr. Jemison explained that there's a portion of rent through a calculation that a resident will pay and then HUD funds the rest.
Yes.
Well, how about all of that going onto an escrow account and you can buy a home? And we've been really fortunate to have over 10 new homeowners. So it's changing lives and generation, and we want to do more of that.
Wonderful. Well, as we've been discussing here, we all need a place to call home, and Chris Silker of Keller Williams Advantage and Team offers the expertise that you're looking for. He's helped clients navigate the complicated world of real estate in mid-Michigan for over 10 years, providing the best information possible at the right time to empower the best decisions. Whether you're a first-time home buyer looking for a local expert to guide you from point A to point B, searching for an income property in the competitive market, right-sizing your life, or searching for your dream home, Chris Silker and the Advantage and team is a name to trust in Greater Lansing real estate. Visit advantageandteam.com or give Chris a call directly at 517-242-9251. So who are the other partners? You mentioned, Irene, about wanting to really thank the city of Detroit is obviously a big helper for you. But who else kind of comes together outside of HUD and the city to help you achieve your mission? Do you have other partners that maybe are behind the scenes, whether they're donations or foundations 100%. Or volunteers?
Yes. Mr. Jemison, do you want to name a critical partner that's helping you in new development?
Sure. I would say, we have the good fortune of having a number of partners who are working with us closely on both the management and the redevelopment of some of our properties. I'll name one that's involved in both. The MHT, the development firm led by Van Fox, is supporting us in a couple of ways. One, they're a crucial operating partner to Irene and the part of the organization that's running our developments every day. So they're a crucial partner there. They also have development capacity and are helping us with some of our most important physical assets, like at the Sheridan properties 1 and 2, just a few blocks down from our offices, where they're leading a redevelopment of that property. We've also got Janasco Development Corporation, who's another local Michigan affordable housing developer who's helping us at our Villages of Parkside property over here on the east side. So it's very common for us to have these kind of partners who work with us closely on, these are they're both 400 unit redevelopment plans that are being proposed. So we're very used to working with people in that vein. Irene's also cultivated partnerships with the city and other places that have to do with things like eviction prevention, a wide range of other kinds of work. So partnerships are really how we get things done. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there is a unique opportunity to partner with our organization that's available right now. People who go to the website, www.dhcmi.org, and they go to the procurement page, they'll see that we've got a lot of chances to work with us. One of which is we're looking for partners to help us redevelop even more of our portfolio. There's a developments that are that total together over 1,000 units, on which we're seeking the best ideas, the best partners to come forward and help us take a creative approach to those developments. We're very much in need of that kind of support. We have a trajectory of our own where within our portfolio, there's developments that we have with our internal team the capacity to lead the redevelopment for. But even if we were incredibly successful over the next 5 to 10 years, we still need partners to help us to get all of our 3,600 units redeveloped. So there's an opportunity out there to be just like MHT or Janasco or other companies that work with us. There's opportunities out there right now to be part of the array of people who are going to, produce the kind of affordable and mixed income housing that's going to sort of keep people in our community, create opportunities for more people to join them, and allow us to do the kind of work Irene was talking about, where we are able to help people get generational wealth and make change in their life through some of the programs and instruments we have.
Makes a ton of sense. And really
over 100 partners. I'm sorry, we have over 100 partners, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, that come to the resident events. Wayne State University actually doing eye exams for our residents. Forgotten Harvest, DTE, who are helping our residents with their utility bills. I mean, we could spend probably 20 or 30 minutes just talking high level at over the 100 partners that we work with on a day-to-day basis. So I just, I hate that we might be missing someone, Mr. Jemison, but definitely the key partners, and I want to go give a shout out to our board. Mm-hmm. Our board is phenomenal. They bring information, donations, critical oversight to this commission. that really, really focus on the residents and the resident experience and also the employees. So, you know, we want to definitely give a shout out to our employees as well, because they do a phenomenal job on a day-to-day basis for our residents.
Well, I mean, you're certainly serving an amazing need, and the city of Detroit should be really grateful for all the work that you do, and nothing gets done without a team and all the partners that are working towards this mission. And as an economic developer myself, I'm always looking kind of even, you know, that whole collective of how do we get folks to not need your services anymore? How does Detroit prosper, you know, and how do we create these great jobs and that they can create wealth outside of home ownership and including home ownership. So I'm bullish on your mission. I'm bullish on Detroit. I'm even more enthusiastic about your leadership that you've demonstrated on this episode here, that the city's in good hands with leaders like you doing the work that you're doing. So I appreciate you sharing your message. Is there anything else that I haven't asked that you want to relay before we sign off?
I don't know, Irene. I guess I'd pass it back to you. Other than gratitude to our partners and the people who work with us every day on our staff, that's probably what I'd pass on, along with our board. Irene, anything you want to add?
Yes, just, you know, Michgian, without them, helping developers come to the table and be able to redevelop our properties, they play a critical role. But at the end of the day, Team 100, which is a little over 100 employees here at DHC who help me come in every day and support us doing the work that we're doing, I just really definitely want to thank them 100%, because they have really showed up and showed out over, you know, the last decade, but, you know, definitely in the last few years.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, we've been speaking with Executive Director Arthur Jemison and Chief Operating Officer Irene Tucker from the Detroit Housing Commission, the authority that's making it all happen in the city of Detroit. I really appreciate you joining me here today. Go to dhcmi.org and see all that is available. I really appreciate you joining me here today. And I'd love to give a final shout out to all of the loyal sponsors. We've got Wagoner Financial, Good Marketing, Triterra Environmental, Keller Williams Advantage and Team, Michgian Rise, Kirk Byron State Farm Insurance, and the attorneys at Foster Swift. Great people doing excellent work. And if you found the show as a one-off, I'd invite you to follow and subscribe to Michigan Reimagined anywhere you find your podcasts. This is Chris Buck signing off for Michigan Reimagined.